Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to a live and interactive session. Not just live and interactive but very informative as well. Well, this is our training session on integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 2. By phase 2, we mean that we are specifically catering to the southern part of the country this time, and it includes states like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and UTs of Puducherry, Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So today is day 4 of the session and we are going to talk about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for computer sciences. Now, what exactly role they are playing when it comes to learning of computer science? Though we are familiar with the physical laboratories of computer science, but what about virtual lab? What are they doing here? So we will talk in detail that how they help in experimentation, assessment, feedback, evaluation, and a lot more. Of course, we will see some demonstrations also, and you can also be a part of it. Yes, you are watching this live sessions on PM eVidya channel from 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. If you wish to participate in the session, please give us a call. Phone number is 8800440559. You can also write an email to us and the email ID is diksha.training@cert.nic.in. Last but not the least, we are also expecting your responses and replies on our YouTube channel NCERT Official, where we are streaming live. Yes, go to the comment section, put in your questions there and connect with us instantly. Now, we all know that it is a training program, so there is going to be an assessment as well, and how you can participate, how you can register yourself, I will tell you by the end of the session. But for now, it's time for me to introduce you all to our experts for the day. So let me repeat myself here. This is a training program under the umbrella theme of integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 2. Today on day 4, we are talking about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for computer sciences, and to have a discussion on this topic, we are joined by our experts. We have with us Mr. Rahul Verma. Sir is technical consultant from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Sir, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar, thank you.
And we are also joined by Ms. Shweta Bhardwaj. Ma'am is technical consultant from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Thank you so much, and it's an absolute pleasure for us to be here today to be discussing a cutting-edge technology of virtual labs and how their integration with computer science can shape the way computer science is being taught, learned and applied. So I hope it's going to be very, very informative session for all the viewers.
Absolutely, we are looking forward to it. And why don't you just offer a glimpse of what exactly we are going to discuss in the session?
Surely, before we dive into the main topic of today's session, let me give a quick overview of what we are going to discuss in today's session.
Yeah.
So we will be discussing the significance of computer science in education and how it can bring in innovation and creativity. Then we will further highlight the importance of hands-on learning, which is strongly being emphasized by NEP 2020. And we will also tell the core of our session, that is what are virtual labs, how to navigate virtual labs, and how they can simulate real-world scenarios in digital space. We will further make the concept very clear by giving the live demonstrations of virtual labs in action by executing Python programs on our Diksha portal. We will also analyze that how teachers can leverage virtual labs as a tool for assessment and how they can play a critical role in creating collaborative learning environment to reap the maximum benefits of virtual labs. So I hope that you're all going to enjoy this engaging and interactive session.
Well, thank you so much for the same. And we all are living in a world that is growing digitally every day. New technology is being introduced. So Shweta ma'am, I would like to ask you, how do you see the role of computer sciences evolving in a world which is really tech driven? And what skills should students be having if they want to focus on thriving in this science? Computer science.
Surely that we all know that we are living in a tech driven world, and digital literacy is at the cornerstone of modern education. As emphasized by NEP 2020, we have to promote hands-on learning and experiential learning, and amidst all, computer science has emerged as a very dynamic branch of science that has revolutionized the way we used to teach and learn. So it is, it has emerged as a very transformative force for fostering essential 21st century skills. And to name a few, it is promoting critical thinking. So, in order to promote innovation and to make our country grow economically, we all have to do critical thinking. And we are facing a very critical challenge to nurture thinking minds. And we all know that we have 17 sustainable development goals, which we all have to meet by 2030. So computer science is giving a platform to all the students so that they can look around the community problems and they can find sustainable solutions in terms of making a mobile app, a web application, or any technological driven solutions. So I'm sure that computer science is actually fostering all these skills, and apart from that, it is also building problem solving abilities. So as I told that we have sustainable development goals, it is equipping the students with divide and conquer approach, where they can look around the community problems and they can make the bigger problem into small manageable chunks and then find the optimized solution. So computer science is not only making the students ready to tackle the problems in technology, but as well as in their day-to-day life. So I can say that, computer science is more than coding, far beyond the realm of coding, from software engineering to software development, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Internet of Things, robotics, cryptography. I mean, like, the list is endless, and there are many more areas which are empowering students to contribute to the society meaningfully. So I'm sure that computer science is paving the way for innovation.
Absolutely. You talked about critical thinking. World is talking about analytical thinking, creativity, enhancement of skills. And that is why National Education Policy 2020 is also focusing on computational skills, because today the world is dealing with mind-boggling concepts that involves computation. So can you please explain how conducting practicals and, can significantly improve this computational skills among the students?
Sure, and to answer your query, let me start with few lines that teach me, I may remember. Tell me, I'll forget. But involve me and I will understand. So this timeless adage can, truly capturing the essence of modern education, that we can only, understand the concept in a better way if we are going to do it by ourselves. And again, I said that there are very critical challenges which we are facing in these times. And the first and foremost is to think about the problem. And there are a lot of gaps between the practical learning and the theoretical learning. And this gap can only be reduced when the student is actively engaged with the technology and doing the experiments, doing the coding by themselves. And secondly, skill development. Even NEP 2020 strongs a very, emphasis that we have to upskill our students. And it can only be done when the students will be translating their abstract ideas into more tangible skill sets while conducting experiments in the laboratories, rather than simply reading them in the textbooks. And then, all the educators will agree to me that in computer science there are many areas, topics like data structures, and there are topics like list and stacks which cannot be understood by the student simply by reading. So we have to bring innovation, we have to find new tools, gamification, or maybe use of virtual labs, which will make the learners make these concepts very easy to understand. And then we are talking about innovation in NEP 2020. That innovation can only be brought when so many students are thinking about the problems. Because in computer science, in order to solve one problem, there could be multiple perspectives. And when they will unleash their creativity, then only we can drive innovation. And then by conducting the experiments, students get the feedback that where they are being wrong, what mistakes they are committing. So a teacher is always there to help, but only by doing they understand that, okay, these are the areas where we may need some support and remediation. And apart from all these skills, what is promoting by computer science and hands-on learning is adaptability. Because in technology, we are having new softwares and new technologies every day.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be scared of the technology, the terms of AI, robotics. We have to embrace the change. We have to embrace the technology to update ourselves. So I think that is the core, that hands-on learning is very important for us.
Absolutely. Hands-on learning, experimentation, practicals, they give you an edge over others. Certainly, you know how to perform the experiments and you can expect the desired outcomes which are accurate as well. And I think in today's world where we have this modern cutting-edge technology and technology is getting outdated with each passing day, it is very important to be on it every time. Computer is in our hands now and we are, just doing most of our businesses through applications, and this is something that requires constant innovation skills. You're constantly innovating something, you're being creative, and for that you need practice. Unless and until you practice, you won't be able to reach where you desire to. And here comes the role of virtual labs, because we have seen real physical laboratories. How much time are we spending there? It is quite questionable at times, because sometimes we do not have enough resources, sometimes we do not have enough space or convenience to do the things. But virtual labs are significantly solving these problems. How? Let me ask this thing to Rahul, sir. So, what do you think virtual labs are, first of all, according to you and as per definition, and what kind of steps or resources you think are required for students and teachers to start using virtual labs?
Okay, so this is the very genuine question, what are the virtual labs? So virtual labs are basically web-based platform where user can conduct experiment.
Okay.
Virtual labs, students conduct their experiment by using simulation. Direct we can interact through websites. So student can access a virtual lab from anywhere, anytime, on any device.
Okay.
So we can say that virtual lab is just a click away from you.
Yeah.
You need to just a click and you get virtual lab access. The National Education Policy NEP 2020 also recognize the importance of virtual labs, technology and the virtual tools, because these tools are very helpful for this is very essential to explore the things, because when we try to large number of people explore the things, so we need a technology expert. Your question last part was that what is the
kind of resources
that we required for the access. So you need a you need a web-based platform where you can access the things and a stable internet connection, and you need a electronics device like a mobile computer or mobile phones. So nowadays most of the people have a mobile phones and stable internet connection. So and NCERT Diksha portal provide virtual labs. So we can say that a virtual lab is available on our fingertips.
Right. So I think that answers my question very rightly, because we have been learning about virtual labs, through so many sessions, and what I understand that you just need a simple, a stable internet connection, any device of your choice, and you can actually lock yourself in a room, or you are in a transit. You don't have to wait for anything. You have a lot of resources and you can just start performing the experiments in virtual labs. Well, it's very handy, and the best part is it overcomes all the challenges that you are generally facing when it comes to real physical laboratories. There are delays, sometimes resources are not there, sometimes internet connection is not that stable, and of course you have the pressure of performance because you are surrounded by your peers, teachers and everything. And I believe that in order to develop a deeper understanding of complex concepts that are there generally when it comes to computer sciences, students need to build the skills that can help them in solving real world problems. So, sir, what do you have to say about it?
So, to build a concept deeper understanding, there are three phases. First phase is understanding. By start focusing on the fundamentals, take time to learn the theory behind the concept, such as algorithm, data structure and programming principle. It is not just about memorizing the facts, but understanding the core ideas about the reasoning behind them. This is foundation will make easier and more advanced topics to learn later on. Second part is visualization. Computer science concept can be often be abstract or difficult to grasp. Visualization the information help to make it more concrete. You can use diagrams, flowcharts or even video to better understand how the data flow and how this works. For example, when learning about the algorithm, draw a step by step flowcharts and how it's operate and how it make it is clear. So visualization help break down the complex problem into smaller parts and it is more manageable to everyone. And third part is real world application. The best way to reinforce your learning is by applying it to real life scenario. Start with a small project like building a small apps website, solving coding challenges, or even you can contribute your codes in open source projects. This hands-on experience allow you to see the how computer science concepts are used in practical helps you solve the real world application and build the problem solving skill. The more you apply, the more you learn, the better you will understanding how this concept works in the real world. So these three parts of understanding, visualization and real world application help to better concrete better understanding.
Absolutely, you're right, because if we want to develop our understanding towards any particular subject, we have to relate the concepts to the real world applications, the real world problems, and that is very, very important. We have seen that when it comes to computer science, whether you want to learn a language, coding, or you want to understand algorithms and flowcharts, it is very important to practice. Practice. But again, we do have computers everywhere. It's reaching even the far-flung areas of the country because internet has made its reach almost everywhere. But then why virtual labs? Though we have cited some reasons as of now, that there's dearth of resources, sometimes there are delays, sometimes not a proper internet connection at times in a particular location. So Shweta ma'am, I would like to ask you that how virtual labs are adding more value to the already existing computer labs and how it guarantees safe experimentation.
Yeah, definitely, that as we talked about, that virtual labs have proved to be transformative in changing the game of learning, making it more fun, more engaging. And as Rahul sir just mentioned, that virtual labs are nothing but the digital simulations of the practicals which we conduct in physical labs. And they are any place, any pace, any time labs. That means they are giving more flexibility to the user to do more hands-on learning, even if they don't have access to costly infrastructure. And as NEP 2020 says, that we don't have to leave any child. Either we are talking about special children or someone who cannot afford costly infrastructure. It is giving the flexibility to do experiential learning. And let me talk about more benefits of virtual labs. So if we talk about in the context of computer science, so computer is perceived as a black box. All the machines acts as a black box which takes some input from us, processes it and generates the output. But can we actually see the processing carrying behind the scene? No. So here virtual lab is bringing the transformative change because it is also helping the child to visualize that how components in the machinery are interacting with each other. We all know that computers don't understand English. They only deals with binary data, that is 0 and 1. And whatever we are writing to the computer is in the form of English. So it is being converted into the binary format which is interpreted by the machine. So here virtual labs is helping the child to visualize that how code is being converted to low level instruction and how data is being saved in their memories. So the first advantage I would like to talk about is step-by-step execution of the code. So if we talk about computer science programming, we write lines of code to solve any problem. In virtual labs, user can understand every line of code. They will see the execution step by step, which is fostering deeper understanding of the subject. Then visualizing how data is being executed, how it is being saved in the memory of the computer. And we all know that memory is very critical in computers, and it is divided into so many segments. So we are going to show in the live demonstration also that how data is taken to different segments of the memory. And then simulating hardware interaction. Like I said, computer cannot interpret English. It has to be converted into binary language. So in virtual labs, user can see how their source code, which is written in English, can be converted into low-level instruction. So this cannot be done by a teacher teaching in a physical class, because we can't peep inside the computer.
Yeah.
But this is possible in virtual labs. And interactive debugging. Since teachers are always there to help the students, but in virtual labs, students can conduct the practicals on their own. So if they are making any mistakes, they are doing any code wrong, they will be prompted by the compiler that you are making mistake, you have to do this way. So it is going to be very, very transformative. And like I told, that NEP 2020 strongly focuses on experiential learning and skill development. So it is promoting hands-on learning for sure. Then equitable access, like no child should be left behind. We also have to take special children into our consideration, children from far-flung areas who cannot afford costly infrastructure. And considering all this, it is providing equitable access to all the students. And then definitely it is cost effective. Like Rahul just mentioned, that in order to access virtual labs, all we need is a web-based portal like our Diksha portal, which can be accessed by a stable internet connection, and a laptop. Even if the child is not carrying any laptop, a phone or tablet can be used to access virtual labs. And self-paced learning, because we all know that every child has a different pace of learning. Not every child can grasp the concept immediately. So virtual labs empower the learners to do the experiment at their own pace. So it is going to be very, very transformative for the learners. And Harpreet ji, like you asked me, that how it is ensuring safe experimentation. So we were talking about subjects like chemistry, biology and physics, where learners can expose themselves to hazardous chemicals. But in computers, we are not dealing with chemicals. So how we are talking about safety? So let me tell all the viewers that in computer science also we have many areas, like by making slight mistake in the coding, it can lead to critical issues. Let's talk about cryptography. We all do messages on WhatsApp and we can see end-to-end encryption there. So whenever we send a message to the receiver, it is being converted in a coded format, and then once the receiver receives the message, then only it is converted to the original format. So even if some user intercepts in between, your data can be lost. And in the times of digital literacy, digital banking, we all are doing transactions online.
Yes.
So when we log into the online banking facility, a session has been assigned to all the user, which stays there for a limited time. So if anyone intercepts that session, imagine that how much fraud they can do and what problems they can do. And talk about database. In today's time, data is gold. Data is very important in times of AI. So if anything happens to database, if user is executing any query and a transaction is not being properly registered, it can lead to significant data loss. So there are many areas which requires perfection in coding. So if a user is learning all these techniques, then it's better to try these things in virtual lab first, and then only if they attained adequate proficiency, then only they can move to the physical lab settings. And as I mentioned, it provides feedback immediately. So user will get to know that where they are making the mistakes, where they are lacking. So it is going to empower the learners to experiment, to innovate.
Right. Well, the use of ICT in our everyday life is now unavoidable. When it comes to education, it is undeniable. We see that how important it is to encourage blended learning. National Education Policy 2020 is also talking about it. And when it comes to inclusive education, when it comes to equity, we all know that virtual labs are playing a significant role in reaching the last mile learner. We are also talking about the importance of real physical laboratories, and we are saying time and again that they are not a replacement of the same. And I believe that it is very, very important that you basically understand that how both are different and how both are actually complementing each other. Now, virtual labs, as we have learned just now, that it allows you to perform experiments beforehand. Ma'am has already talked about the safety security features. We know how important it is to get prepared before you actually enter a lab and perform something that can have far-reaching consequences. So it's better that you practice, get yourself a feedback, and then you enter in that zone totally prepared, and you know what is going to be the accurate outcome and how you are going to prepare for it. And now, Rahul sir, you know, after learning all about safe experimentation, because that is a big question, we have learned about experiments in science, as ma'am correctly pointed out. What about in computer science? But then data is asset now. It is totally a treasure, and it has to be protected. But can you please explain us that how virtual labs are enhancing the conceptual understanding of learners? Because this is all about learning concepts, going into the computational skills and everything, please.
Yes, virtual lab have a 3 session. First session is pre-lab session, second is performing session, and third is post-lab session. So first session, pre-lab session, where user can make their understanding. Pre-lab session will make the learner about the experiment, what he want to do in lab. And second, performance lab session, here learner execute the experiment for learning, like we are going to explore the programming languages. So here user can perform the programming language right in source code. And after the performing lab session, experiment learner can take a quiz as a check their understanding, their assessment. So there are 3 parts of virtual labs: pre-lab session, performance lab session, and post-lab session.
Okay. And I think it is very important to understand that how these virtual labs are actually helpful, because they prepare you beforehand. And of course, when it comes to evaluation, when you evaluate yourself, you also start understanding the place you are at. You can take the difficulty level as per your convenience, and you can gradually build up that understanding and concepts. I think now it is very important to understand everything that we have been discussing so far through demonstrations. And demonstrations are something that allows you to basically look at the interface, that it allows you to understand how to perform and how to go about it. And then when it gets combined with the theoretical knowledge that you've gained so far, it develops your understanding and interest as well. So Shweta ma'am, I request you to kindly perform some demonstrations for all of us so that we have a better understanding of this.
Sure. Now it's time to deep dive into the virtual labs in action. And for that, I want the users to navigate to the Diksha portal. So let me apprise all of you that if we want to go to Diksha Labs virtual portals, we have to first go to Google, and we can simply type Diksha Virtual Labs. And after coming to this interface, it is very, very user friendly. And if I scroll down, it will show you, it will show us that what are virtual labs, and it has categorized the experiments class-wise. So learners can explore the class, and further they can choose their medium of instruction. So for today's session, let me select the class grade 11 for computer science and English medium. Okay. So if you will click on the medium, we will be coming to this page where we will be exposed to all the practicals which are available on our Diksha portal.
Okay.
So today, let me start a small execution of Python program where we have to add 2 numbers. So we will take 2 numbers from the user, and through Python program we are going to do the demonstration. So let me click on this, and as Rahul mentioned that Diksha portal is very user friendly, where we are fostering deeper understanding because the entire practical is divided into 3 sessions: pre-lab sessions, performance lab sessions and post-lab session. In the pre-lab session, user can acquaint themselves by understanding the theory first. If you are new to the system or programming language, you are not aware of the syntax, then you can click on theory and you can understand the aim that today we are going to implement a Python program that is going to compute the sum of 2 numbers. Then we have some instructions. Since I told you that it will also consider low level instructions, that how instructions will be executed inside the computer. So you will be getting to read load, store, add and out. These are low level instructions. And a user can also acquaint themselves with the theory of the programming language. Like every programming language has different syntax, different rules. So if anyone is new to Python programming, they can first apprise themselves by the rules of how to declare a variable, what are the valid rules, and after that, what will be the learning outcomes. So after going through the entire theory, user can further read the procedure. Again, it comes in the pre-lab session where we are telling the user that you have to assign some values to the variables in order to compute the sum, and what are the variables we will be considering. So like Rahul mentioned that for deeper understanding, we have to visualize. So this flow chart, this diagrammatic representation is making the concept more clear that these are the lines of code, and these 2 lines means simply assigning some numerical values to the variables which are A and B, and once these values will be loaded to the computer memory, the sum will be computed. Now this part is not visualized in normal classroom teaching, but I was talking that how a student can visualize how data travels inside the computer and we finally get the output. So after understanding theory and procedure, we can also have a look at the video. If you're still not comfortable, you still need more clarity how to conduct practicals in simulator, you can further click on the video, understand how to execute the steps, and then we can further go to the simulator. So this is the core of our session today, where we are going to show you how to simulate real world programs in digital space. So we are going to click on start, and now the user will get this interface which is divided between so many sections. On the extreme left side, you can see Python source code which is written in English language. So whenever a programmer is writing a code, it is known as source code. Now this code cannot be directly interpreted by the compiler or interpreter. That has to be converted into machine language or a code that is understood by the computer. So here we have code segment. So this segment is in the memory which converts the high level instruction into the low level instruction so that it can interact with the hardware. And further to the extreme right, we can see data segment, stack segment and heap segment. So these are different sections of the computer memory. So we all know that by executing a program, we have to deal with data, we have to take numbers or maybe input from the user. Whatever input we are taking from the user is stored in all these data segment. All the local variables are saved in the data segment, and then stack segment is used to save global variables. And then comes a heap segment which is used to store the dynamic variables, the data which is allocated dynamically. And at the bottom we can see that there are CPU registers that the computer data is being saved in memory. So now we will see that how data travels from code segment to CPU register. So let me click on start, and it will execute the first statement, A, B and sum. And these are the global variables which will be saved in the data segment. So in our program, we are dealing with 3 global variables, A, B for taking the numbers from the user, and variable sum is going to add the numbers and holding the result. After that, we will be assigning some values to these variables, and these values will be loaded in the CPU registers. So you can actually see how data travels. Then value B will be loaded to any register. It doesn't matter which register is saving the memory. The value will be computed, and this value will be loaded back to variable sum, which is a global variable. So that's how the entire execution process happens in virtual labs. So if you are doing any program for database management, for encryption, cryptography, it is going to be a game changer because you are doing everything in a very safe environment. Whatever things you are doing here in virtual labs is not going to affect your local computer. And in a way we can say that virtual labs provide a sandbox environment to the user. So it will be displaying the sum 50. And for more understanding, Harpreet ji, I would like to demonstrate one more.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
please.
one more program.
We have enough time, so you can actually take your time and, you know, be very comfortable with it.
So next is a simple lab activity to identify whether a number given by the user is odd number or even number. So again, I will start with clicking on the module. Again, it will show me this interface where we have pre-lab sessions in terms of theory and procedures, and a video for how to execute the program in simulation. We have a simulator, and let me tell you that in this program we are also introducing the concept of if and branching. Earlier we were only adding two numbers, but in this program we are going to talk about if construct in the programming. So let me click on simulator, and we have to click on OK to start the program execution. The source code will be converted into low level instructions, and you can see that we have written only 6 lines of code here, but actually it is being converted into 10 lines of code which will be executed by the computer. So computer is giving you abstract environment. It is hiding all the complexities from you so that you can focus on logics. So let me start the program. It will be declaring global variables of num, result, and some temporary variables to do the execution, to hold the results. And it is asking, it is prompting the user that first enter some value which will be checked for being odd or even. So let me type 8 here. We know that it is an even number, but let's see how it checks. Let me submit. The value of 8 will be stored in num global variable. It will be, now we are assigning a temporary variable, because if we have to check whether a number is odd and even, we divide the number by 2 and we check if the remainder comes out to be 0, then only it is even. So we divide the number by 2, which is a temporary number, temporary variable. And let's see how the values are being loaded into the registers, and with the help of modulo operator, which is a percentage symbol, it is being evaluated. If the remainder is 0, then we can say here the remainder is 0 in case of 8, and it will be saved in result. So we can see that how Python program is being executed step by step, fostering deeper understanding of the concept and showing the students visualizing how it is being converted to low level instruction, how variables are stored in the memory, and how the result is being displayed ultimately. And this is very simple program, and like we mentioned that this virtual labs is also giving you post lab session. Once you will conduct the experiment, it has tools for assessment of the students' understanding. So we have self evaluation modules also, where we have some MCQs where a child can understand whether he has actually grasped the concept or he has to do it again. We are talking about repeatability, accessibility. So if a child has not grasped the concept yet, it is very simple to click on simulator again, do the experiment and come back to evaluation. And if even you need more support, we have some resources as well, websites and some textbooks, so that you can learn in a better way. So I think it is going to change the way computer science is being taught in schools?
Absolutely. I'm myself now very keen to perform one or the other experiments. I think I can brush up my skills. Whatever I've learned during my childhood days or during school days, I can definitely perform the same experiments on virtual lab. And I'm actually not very happy that why this concept didn't exist back then. And I've seen how easy it is. There are prompts, there are tutorials, there are everything to help you out. You can actually never go wrong, even if you want to, when it comes to performing experiments on virtual lab platforms. And the best part, something that has stuck with me, is that nothing can escape from your eyes here. When you're performing experiments in some other subjects or other branches of sciences, I mean, you don't have to visualize now. I mean, you can see everything current flowing, and here you can see your input getting converted into binary language and computer processing every detail to give you the desired output. So I think virtual labs are no less than a miracle, because it has made conceptual understanding so easy and convenient at your own place, at your own pace, at your own convenience, wherever you want to. So this is something that is getting updated also. It's a work in progress. We're adding more languages, we're adding more experiments here, and your feedback is always welcome. So after watching this demonstration, I think we can derive some benefits from it, and Rahul sir would like to tell about those benefits.
So there are 4 major benefits of virtual labs. First is accessibility, repeatability and visualization, and last is safety. So first, accessibility. So virtual lab is accessible from anywhere, anytime or any device.
Yes.
So students don't have in a physical lab to conduct experiment. This is especially helpful for students who may not have access to a traditional laboratory.
True.
And repeatability, student can repeat multiple times same experiment multiple times. There is no resource limitation, there is no anything other required for repetition. And third and important is visualization. Virtual labs allow students to see things they might not be able to in real labs, like complex reaction, microscopic process. Visualizing the concept help students to understand more clear way to concept. And last is safety. Since virtual lab are simulated, student can conduct experiment without any risk of the accident or injury. They can explore the dangerous, harmful experiment in safe environment and complex concept and build skill to solve real world problem. So these are the benefits of virtual labs.
Absolutely, and when you start performing experiments, you witness even more benefits. So this is just a broad category that we have shared with you. Now, no teaching learning experience is actually complete without feedback and evaluation. Though we are assessing ourselves while performing experiments, but there is a certain way through which teachers can assess what a student is like, at which place a student is right now, what is the current difficulty situation a student can face right now. So Shweta ma'am, these virtual labs are great concepts, and it is also a great tool for teachers when it comes to assessing the students' difficulty level or understanding level. So just shed some light on it, how teachers are doing that.
So yeah, for sure, virtual labs have proved transformative for both students and teachers. And we all know that assessment is very critical component for entire teaching and learning process, because it acts as a constructive feedback mechanism. It gives deep insights about the understanding of the students about the particular topic, and how much they are understanding and what are the areas where they might need some additional support and remediation. And as a teachers, as educators, we all know that assessment can be conducted in multiple ways. So we predominantly talk about 3 types, like diagnostic assessment, formative assessment, and summative assessment. But we somehow tend to stick more to the summative assessment, that once we teach the topic, then we try to gauge the understanding of the students. Why not diagnose the problems before teaching the concepts? So today I will be talking about the importance of diagnostic assessments and formative assessment. So, diagnostic assessment is done before teaching the topic. So before introducing any new topic, we all have to understand that what is the current understanding of my students and how much they already know about the concept. Sometimes students carry misconceptions. They feel that, okay, we already know the concept, but maybe not in the right way. So it is a duty of a teacher to understand that what are their misconceptions and how to remove them. And for carrying out diagnostic assessment, it can be, virtual labs can be leveraged to students so that they can do the pre-lab sessions. Before starting the topic, they can go through the theory and the procedure part. They can acquaint themselves, they can, apprise themselves that what is the right syntax for writing the program and what are the valid rules so that they don't make any mistake. And then comes, like, while the teacher is taking the topic, it is very important to do the formative assessment. So why to make the assessment so boring by only doing it MCQ ways or maybe taking the quiz? Even teachers can make their assessment very, very creative. They can also bring innovation in assessment strategies. So virtual lab is giving you the platform to also innovate the teaching process and doing the assessment. The teachers can blend these virtual labs in their day-to-day teaching, and they can take the students a very collaborative kind of activity. They can integrate in their lesson plans that they can make a group of students who can conduct the experiment and explain to the class. So again, it is going to foster essential 21st century skills: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. So I think all the teachers should work on their assessment and how they can blend virtual labs in their day-to-day teaching and learning.
Absolutely. I think teachers has a very important role to play here, because it is not just about assessing the student, it is also about encouraging them to take even more difficult, complex concepts and to make them a better learner of the same. Now, we have seen that these virtual labs, they have literally taken a student under its wings, You're providing them everything, like to learn, to assess themselves, to understand, to gauge the difficulty level through the components of virtual lab. Now, after the initial guidance, a student is absolutely prepared to go about it and practice as many times as he or she wants. There is also one thing that it is like a self-learning material. Everything is right there in front of you. A teacher need not to stand on your head all the time or to tell you that you have to do this and that. But then there should be some ideal role of a teacher when it comes to, making virtual labs popular, or I think making it a routine part of teaching learning experience. So what, according to you, is the ideal role of teacher? Because we're clearly seeing that virtual labs are actually driven by learners.
Yes, so it is very interesting to know the ideal role of teachers in learner-centric virtual labs, that what ideal role they can play. And I say they have to play a very, very pivotal role in navigating the virtual labs, making them more impactful in deeper understanding of the concept. So we were talking about technology, like everything is done by students in DIY mode. Then what is the role of teacher in today's time, in times of AI, when we are talking about that whether AI can replace the teachers? Certainly not. Nothing can replace teachers. And even in case of virtual labs, even if it is learner centric, teachers have a center stage to perform, because they are only going to navigate the students to our Diksha portal to simulate experiments on virtual labs. They have to tell the students about virtual labs, several benefits, how they can blend virtual labs in their learning process, and how to understand the concept in a better way. And in order to do that, teachers have to blend virtual labs in their day-to-day teaching with their physical lab activities. They can assign some topics that, okay, before coming to my lab, before conducting this program, first you have to go to virtual lab, acquaint yourself with the theory, procedure, go through the simulator. And when the teachers will blend this virtual lab in their physical lab setting, they will see some major transformation happening. They will be seeing students coming with out-of-the-box ideas, telling the teachers that, okay, this topic or this problem can be dealt in this way. So there will be multiple perspectives, and we are going to nurture creative mindsets. And then definitely teachers feel that they're overburdened in assessments and doing the evaluation. So in virtual labs, I talked about that we have post lab sessions as well. So when a child is performing the experiment, post that they can do self evaluation. So a child can also get to know that where they are lacking, where are the areas, what are the areas where they might need some kind of remediation. And apart from the MCQs only, teacher can innovate several strategies to make the learning more fun and engaging. They should make the activities very, very collaborative to foster essential 21st century skills, because students, even if they know, they don't speak up in the class. So they have to know how to collaborate, how to communicate what they are thinking, what they are doing, and it is going to be path breaking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about it will going to support self-paced learning also, because teacher has a lot of students in the class to cater to.
Absolutely.
And they can't pay attention in a very limited time. So students are also going to learn at their own pace, at their own home. They can do the experiments, and definitely they are going to develop assessment strategies, which is going to be very, very innovative and collaborative.
So this is not just learner-centric, but teaching-centric as well. And apart from the major components of teaching, it is also helping teachers in the routine coordination activities that they're supposed to perform. And how can we forget that we are upgrading our virtual labs day by day, and all the inputs that are being fed to these virtual lab scenario, they are basically authenticated or verified by teachers only. So yes, teachers has a very important role to play when it comes to popularizing the use of virtual labs among students, or creating an awareness that such a system exists to make a use of it. Now, this was a very, I would say interesting and an eye-opening session, because we have been learning about virtual labs, and learning about them when it comes to different subjects is a total different ball game altogether, because we have seen our traditional labs and we see how we perform experiments and go about it, and when we relate them to virtual labs, it kind of gives us something new, something adventurous, because this is a concept that is revolutionized, I would say, modern teaching learning thing. So that was a very good session. On day 4, we talked about virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for computer sciences, and this was conducted under the umbrella theme of integration of virtual labs in teaching learning. Now I will tell you about the training. Yes, I told you in the beginning that this is a training session. You can participate. So let's have a quick look at the website. Yes, where you have to go. So this is the website that I was talking about, ciet.ncert.gov.in. Go to the activities section and opt for workshop and training. Now, when you scroll down, you will see 2 current activities happening. But for the moment, we are focusing on online training on integration of virtual labs in teaching learning phase 2. Here you will find a complete write-up that why we are conducting this training, what are virtual labs and how they are going to be useful. And I told you that though we are catering to the southern zone of the country, but this training session is open to all and anybody can participate. Here we have all the details, that title of the sessions are there, who all are actually participating as resource person. We are also uploading all the sessions that are being conducted. So they are uploaded on our YouTube channel NCERT Official for your later references also. Now the most important part, if you want to take assessment, how to participate. Step 1, register yourself. Scan this QR code or click on the link. Step 2, you have to watch all our training sessions that are streaming live on these platforms very attentively. Step 3, well, this is the post-session activity that will be conducted on the last day of the session, and these are the dates, and if you score more than 70%, you will get yourself a certificate which you can download from Diksha website. Last but not the least, submitting your feedback. That is essential, because if we want to improve upon our training sessions, if we want to include newer content that suits you or relevant or is desired by you, then you have to let us know. And how you can do that? Write an email to us on diksha.training@ciet.nic.in or give us a call, because we are looking forward to your participation. And now this brings me to the climax of this particular session, and let me thank both my experts. Mr. Rahul Verma, thank you so much, and Shweta ma'am, thank you so much for your unique contribution to the session, and what a wonderful way to explain the role of virtual labs in teaching computer sciences, and those demonstrations were absolutely wonderful. Now, before I leave, it's time for me to tell you about the programs that are going to coming ahead. Yes, you can watch these programs in the day ahead, and let's have a look on your screen. So we started our day with Yog Shakti, and we have just concluded our session on virtual lab as a teaching learning tool for computer science, and this will be followed by a session on sciences at 12 p.m. From 2 p.m. we will bring you a session in sciences titled Heat. 2:30 is the time for a session on mathematics, followed by a session on Urdu at 3 p.m. From 3:30 to 4, you can watch a session of ours on social sciences, and this will be followed by a session of online training from 4 to 5 p.m. Remember that we are talking about IoT devices, its safety, and other mobile devices. From 5 to 5:30, we will talk about Sahyog, and we'll talk about navigating certain challenges. So you can watch these sessions of ours on a different streaming platforms. And for the moment, this is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. I will join you soon. Stay tuned with us. Namaskar.